Hello viewers, my name is Ashok Sen Gupta from School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. This is a continued topic which I discussed in last two lectures about the introduction of PERT and CPM. In previous lecture, I discussed with you about the topic PERT. We discussed about the evaluation of PERT, what are the benefits of the PERT, advantages, disadvantages, various keywords is used like slack, notes, arrow, lead, lag, earliest time, finish time in my previous topic. Today we will discuss another topic which is also a tool for network diagram, which is also used in project management, which was also came into picture in 1950 with PERT, which is CPM. CPM, critical path method. Critical path method is a technique technique where you identify tasks that are necessary for project completion and different scheduling flexibilities. A critical path is project management. In project management is the longest sequence of activities that must finished on time in order to finish the project completely. Any delay in critical task delay in the rest of the project, as in PERT, any delay in the path it delay in the rest of the project. Similarly, any delay in the CPM diagram or CPM estimation will delay the project. In PERT, we calculate estimated time, pessimistic time, most likely time, optimistic time. But in CPM, we calculate only the longest time, longest path. We calculate the longest path. CPM involves around discovering the most important tasks in the project time, identifying task dependency and calculating the task duration. Identifying the task dependency and task duration. CPM can develop in the year 1950, late 1950, and as a method to resolve the issues of increased cost or due to insufficient scheduling. Since then, CPM has become popular for planning a project and priorities task. It helps you break down complex project into individual tasks and give project flexibility, better understand to project flexibility. Till this point, it is quite look similar as the PERT, but later on we find that is little bit difficult, little bit different from PERT. So, it is also helpful to make it proper scheduling, break down the task, break down the process, break down the items which are dependent on each other, put them on a sequence way and make a relationship with them. So, which is dependent on another. CPM can provide valuable insight on how to plan project, allocate resources and schedule tasks. Allocate resources and schedule tasks. Here are some reasons why we should use this method. The first method, first we know improve future planning. The first important part is improved future planning. CPM can be used to compare expectation with actual process. Data used from current project can inform future project plan. Data used to compare expectation future project, whatever the future plan, we can prepare it accordingly with the help of CPM. Second is facilitate more effective resource management. Whatever the resource, actually we know the resources are very scarce in nature and we also know that they are costly. So, effective use of the resources, are very important if we talk about human resource or material resource. CPM help project manager to give priorities of tasks, give them better ideas of how they can use, where they deploy the resources, how we use the resources parallelly by sequentially without wasting of time, without wasting of resources. If one task is finished at that particular hour, at a particular time, the next task must be start instantly, because time is important. Labor sitting idle will cost you, will not give you the proper result in the production. So, in every project first it is very important to understand about the requirement of the resources and management of the resources. Effective management of resources, as resources are nowadays human or material. Last, to avoid bottleneck in a project can be result in a valuable time. What happen when an project is going delay and the completion time is nearby, the project manager get worried about that, and due to this worried, sometime quality control will hamper. Company put all its effort to complete the project on time or before time to save themselves from any kind of penalty, because in some countries, even in India, it is up to the contract between the client and the project team, that if you not complete the project at proper time, you have to pay a penalty, financial penalty. So, to avoid the penalty, project manager or team work hard, but they compromise with the quality deliveries. With the help of CPM, we can avoid this bottleneck. A bottleneck in project can result in loss of valuable time. Plotting out project dependency using network diagram. how to find the critical path. First is how to find, now our question is how to find the critical path CPM. The first is list activities. So, again we have to list down the various activities incurred, we have to list down the various activities incurred in the projects. Break down the activity according to the work, that is breakdown structure. Again here, see, again here this is reflecting breakdown structure. So, how much it is important we know, we must understand. We have a task, we break down into 1 and 2, then further break down into A1, A2, B1, B2. If possible, if there is any possibility of breakdown A1, then A11, A22, A112, A21, A22. So, it is up to the project manager how he represent its project, how he manage his project, how he maintain the breakdown structure. If project management has inexperience, project manager do not want to use his skill or to maintain the project, he does not know what is breakdown structure, then it is not helpful critical path. He will not use this method, he cannot use this method critical path, because use a breakdown, it list all the project activities. Similarly, in project management, in CPM, in PERT, we have the list of activities. So, if we did breakdown structure properly, we already have the listed activities, and we need to put these listed activity in the CPM chart. So, we can make a better chart for every activity which is followed by 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 4, etc. See, these are the tasks. See, these are the tasks, and first we give them task ID A, B, C, D, you can do anything. Task 1, create outline. So, task 1, it take hardly 1 day, draft writing 5 days, editing and creating final draft 2 days timing, post design post visuals 4 days timing, add animation 2 days timing, and upload the post 1 day timing. So, this is a project where we can design anything, and these are the tasks 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, F, 6 tasks, and each task has assigned a time duration. Secondly, each task is responsible for a certain person, like creating outline is responsible for a person, write draft is another person is responsible, editing and creating another person is responsible, but each task here is depend on each other, each task is here is depend on each other. So, first when we create outline, after that we can write a draft, and after creating a draft then we finalize the draft. So, if we delayed by 1 day, then it will delayed by 1 day, either this person manage it to complete in 1 day only. So, it will take 2 days, otherwise it will take 3 days, and finally it will this project delayed by 1 day. So, it is just an example, but in practically it cost you. See here, like project name, we have a phase 1, phase 2, In phase 1 we have 3 tasks, we can more than 3 tasks, but it is 3 tasks. In this phase there is a 3 tasks. This is the breaking down the things, this is the breaking down the things. Second step in CPM is identifying dependencies, identifying dependencies. So, based on the work breakdown structure, determine the tasks that are depend on each other, determine the tasks that are depend on each other. This will also helps you to identify any work that can be done in parallel or with task. So, according to the breakdown structure, A is B is dependent on A. So, these tasks can be parallel and both B and C depend on A. So, identify the dependencies. Here the task dependency based on example of B depend on A, C depend on B, like this. B depend on A, C depend on B, D depend on C, E depend on D and F depend on E. D and C can run parallelly, D and C editing draft and design visual post, because these are two things, these are two different things. So, they can run parallelly, they can run parallelly. So, we can draw a CPM part A, B, C like this, A, B, C. It can be D. Okay. Now, E depend on D. So, A depend, B depend on A, C depend on B, it can run parallelly, E depend on D, F depend on C, D and E. F is finishing task, like this, F is finishing task. So, how that's the example how we can create, this is the example how we can create, how we can maintain a critical path. Third step, create a network diagram. The next step is to turn the work breakdown, as I did, turn the work breakdown structure in network diagram, which is a flow displaying the chronological of activities, creating a box of each task and using arrows on dependency and independency, using the box dependency and independency, dependence moving forward and making a box. You will add other time bound component on network diagram until you have the general project guidelines. You have the if you have a general project guidelines, you can end up time bound one. Fourth is estimate time duration. To calculate the critical path, the longest sequence of critical tasks you first need to be estimate. The longest sequence you need to be estimate during the activities. To estimate the duration, okay, to estimate the duration during the longest activities. Make educated guesses based on experience and knowledge, because every project having experienced person, a project manager is an experienced person. So, calculate the task, it is not a hypothetical thing, you have to some realistic experiences inputs in there, you need to put experience input, you need to calculate the estimated time, best time and guesses, making estimated duration of completion of project with your experience, not hypothetically or not unrealistic way. So, therefore, if you did the unrealistic hypothetical one, that is very difficult to maintain that one, very difficult to maintain that one. So, it is very important the person who is doing these kind of activities having some experiences, You can take estimated data, you can take idea, of previous project. If you have a same time of project, if you did if you worked on same time project previously, you can take a idea from that, and you can take idea and then use that one based on the and secondly based on the industrial experience also. Its standard, industrial standard, your industrial standard is also important for that. So, what is the requirement of the industry, what standard they want, you can get an idea from that, estimated on the industrial idea and industrial data. So, this is a little bit information about CPM. I recap this lecture for your information that today lecture is based on what is CPM. So, CPM is a critical path method, which is a tool which was used for network designing initial days. Now, it is very important tool for project managers. They find out the estimated time, longest time. It involves various aspects and it was initiated in late 1950 to maintain the project and planning for the projects. It involves, it is helpful to use the method. Why we use the CPM? Because it is helpful future planning, it was helpful facilitate more effective resource management, helpful for avoiding bottleneck problems. So, we use CPM for this one. How we can design? We have a 4 steps, like list down the activities with the work breakdown structure. We can easily list down the activities what we need to require, what are the resources, what are the activities required for that. Like here, project name, phase, we list down the activities, what are the activities are happening in the project, we can list it down, because we already have work breakdown structure. If you have work breakdown structure, that is helpful for you for project management, for CPM. See, this is a table where this is a kind of task, which is breakdown according to the duration of the task, and with the help of this task we can create a path, we can create a project management. With the help of CPM we can create a longest part with estimated time period to completion of the project. We put these tasks according to their dependency and independency. So, see here B is dependent to A, because creating outline I did here, B is dependent to A, C and D are dependent to B, and E is dependent to D, and finally F is the finish, and F is dependent on all these. So, this is a path, and which path we require to follow is according to calculation we find the longest estimated time in CPM. Then we create a network diagram, create a box, we create an arrowhead. We had discussed lot of time about the arrowhead box. Estimated time duration, it is important part because we need estimated time, and this estimation time duration is according to the experience of the project manager, it is according to the experience of the team, it is according to the historical data or what industrial required. Important is if there is a set of if there is a industry and industry there is a industrial standard, we need to follow the industrial standard. So, I end this lecture today, my dear friends, with the hope that you understand its topic, and we will discuss this topic CPM in my next lecture, and we discuss about how we work on how we create more CPM diagram and with some more examples, because CPM part is so important that it will helpful for you for project management. Thank you for watching this video.